I wash my soul in the ocean, in the tears of God, I let it go.
Hello, my Astro family. This is your August 2020 horoscope, and things are getting interesting again. The war of the planets is beginning. The big players, Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto, will hold a difficult square aspect in the sky for almost 2 months, starting from the middle of August. Things will heat up around the world. I expect riots, I expect rebellions, I expect clashes between governments and people, and things might get quite violent. But on the personal level, we're gonna look now how it's going to affect you in the personal level, and I'll give you suggestions and remedies. So don't worry. Personally, everyone usually has higher vibration than collectively, so we can do much better with those challenging aspects. Plus, there is a huge cosmic release of karma in certain area of your life where things are completing and ending. We'll talk about that. The galactic center aligns with the planet of karma, huge things. But before I start, I just wanted to let you know that my first book, my first electronic book, is out. It's about the planetary aspects in the natal horoscopes interpretation. Say if you are born when Jupiter was conjunct the Sun or square Venus or whatever, all those explanations are there. I wrote it with my teacher over. It took us 1 year, so it's now discounted for the first 2 weeks. Whoever orders it, it's very affordable price, so I'm excited. My first ever book. And also we're doing a webinar on August the 13th with Krasi, how to interpret your Babylonian horoscope, how to interpret your natal horoscope according to the ancient method. It's going to be 5-6 hours, very practical. We'll work with personal charts of the people there. We will give we'll read personal lives and examples, so it's gonna be very hands-on. So now let's begin with August 2020. Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Oh, Libras who feel it quite strongly because the cardinal signs are getting so activated almost till November, guys. And the tight, let's start with the more difficult energies. The tight aspects between Mars and Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto is starting from around the middle of August, and it's going to hold till October, even the first weeks of October. So some situation starts developing. Let's see how it can play out. It is connected to a personal life, place of living, house. For some of you, it can indicate the change that is going to happen there with property, with home, with family. And it might feel stressful because Mars is activating those planets in the fourth house of property, home. So you might start selling or buying property, and you might have to, and Mars is in the seventh house of negotiation, so you might have to fight or negotiate, or it might prolong over a couple of months while Mars goes retrograde from September, October till November. Don't lose heart. It might need you will need to fight for some contracts or agreements as well. Mars is in the seventh house. And you will, it doesn't mean these things will not happen. It means they will just get more complicated, more stressful for some time. So if you're in negotiations, if you're in contracts, if you're working in some kind of a group, some kind of a collaboration with someone, the tension can escalate. My husband is Libra rising, and I've been watching this process start happening even already from now. Since Mars entered his seventh house, he's been fighting online with people. Seventh house is other people, and people around him are so opinionated, and he's like, it's driving him crazy. But when Mars is in your seventh house, you're ready to fight. So you're ready to stand up for yourself when it comes to other people. You're ready to assert yourself. In worst case scenario, it can create tension between your partners, with you and your partner. So I've warned my husband that from the middle of August onwards, I might be a batshit crazy, playing out the Mars. Maybe your partner can be very busy. Maybe they might be more stroppy. Maybe they might have some deadlines. They might be initiating some new changes in their life. This is Mars, which is stressing you out. It's stressing your peace of mind. Or you might initiate some project together with a partner that you have to work very hard on for the next few months. and that is creating tension, and that is, might be detracting from your family life, or creating there some frustrations as well with parenthood duties and responsibilities. And especially, it's kind of like those two spheres will be so active and battling it out: relationships and personal life and home and parenting. You'll be very busy day. It doesn't mean you'll do a bad job because there are difficult aspects. It means it will be very demanding. Your partner will be very demanding. Your or others, seventh house, they can demand and they can push you, go, 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 let's do that. Your partner might be demanding that, let's change, let's move. So both houses get activated: seventh house of relationship, fifth house of family. Or if you're single, some of you might be initiating new relationships of some sort, especially with more feisty people, with more fiery people, with more youthful people. Mars can be entering your life. They can be more excitable people as well. And this can put but there will be tensions with them. There will be a test of relationship, because Mars receives difficult aspect from Saturn and Jupiter. So you might find yourself quarreling with them more. Um, you might find that they're moving too fast and they're stressing you, but you can also find them that they're like a pushing engine for you, pushing you to go. Come on, let's make those changes. You need to make big changes in your life now. And someone in the face of another person, it might be your marriage partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, it might be a business partner, it might be just another relationship with someone that you have to collaborate with someone, and they're like, you know, and that's creating some emotional stress for you, because you see Mars is activating those four planets in the fourth house of peace of mind, home, you know, being in your safe cave. So that's get disturbed. So the changes that are going to start happening are in regards to contracts, agreements, relationships. That can there can be some pressure there. We talked about that. But renewal as well, because Mars wants to renew that, and at the same time, something you have to complete at home, or some responsibilities and duties can be stressing your relationship, or your relationships, or another person can be stressing your family life. But they can be at the end of that. You can have big changes like relocations, like maybe by November, December, you can have renewed relationship. So you might have completed some very important project with a partner. Your partner might have completed some renewal of themselves, and all this will pay off. All these frustrations that happen during this process. So don't lose hope. Just know it will be hard. A lot of bureaucratic hoops will have to be jumped with Saturn there in regards to contracts, agreement, or business matters. Seventh house is also connected to business, trading, buying, selling, communicating with clients, putting yourself out there in the public, or relationships with clients of any sort. So they get fired, they get heated up, they get more frustrated. There might be delays delays of some sort, some bureaucratic jumps and obstacles in connected to business that have to be dealt with. But again, because both planets are in very great dignity in their own signs, I believe that the final results, if we keep kind of more equanimity, more coolness, if we don't overreact too fast and burn our bridges, we can really achieve great job with seventh house, with business, with relationships, because it rules all of those things, with some mutual projects, in partnerships, and in your personal life, fourth house, property, home, but there can be tensions, fighting with family, with parents, with relationships is part of the process. Stressing, things like that, stressing you out, like, oh, having to move, deadlines, or similar topics. Okay, Libra, big changes ahead. Get excited for that. Big changes never happen easy. The cart is turning, but the wheels are square. It's gonna move, but you're gonna be like that. Fun, fun, fun. Then there is the new moon around the 18th. So a week before that and 2 weeks after that, you're gonna feel those new energies of the new moon, infusing some new 11th house things, because it's happening in the 11th house. And that's new social connections. You can meet new people, a new social environment, renewal of a social environment. New people appear, or maybe you're becoming part of some groups online, in real life, of some clubs as well. You might receive some information from person. Mercury is part of that new moon. So Mercury is information, some piece of news uh, that can excite you about. 11th house is about profits, gains. You can learn something or start learning something connected to gains and profits. 11th house is markets. It's again business related, markets, trading. So you see there is a lot of activations of those social houses. The 7th with Aries and the 11th with, it's again business. The 7th is business, the 11th is business. The 7th is more personal contact with clients, the 11th is larger groups of people. But social communications will be very active for you in August. Involvement with others, doing things together with others, and new commercial or business ideas can come to you around the 18th, or let's say the second part of August, through this 11th house of gains, meeting the right people, networking, getting some ideas of how to profit, to be more profitable. But the 11th house is also social activism. Woo! You might join some groups where you're getting active. It might be online or physically, about the social changes that are happening now. Politically, you might get quite interested and quite involved, because the 11th house is very much connected to political ideologies as well, what is good for society. And you might be entering into important communications, verbal wars, or, with Mercury being part of the new moon. Or some of you, oh, so sorry, might actually have like, all the social changes that are happening now. And you can be on that wave that from August, after this new moon, some new idea for business can come to you to ride that wave of the social, or join some group of people to ride that wave of the social changes that are about to happen and that are happening. But it's going to get way bigger with the markets and everything, and the economy and the finances. So you might actually find some opportunity, because the 11th house is house of gains, rewards, very opportunistic. And with this new moon cluing you in with the right connections or the right piece of information to jump on that train. All right. And last but not least, you have the South Node aligning with the galactic center in the 3rd house. That might be endings, because the South Node is past karma. Galactic center tends to burn something up, to destroy it. So it might be endings connected to some difficult chapter in the life of a sibling of yours, for example, some big change happening there, 3rd house, or with relatives, or ending of a karma connected to siblings, to relatives, to some karmic situation connected to siblings and relatives, or neighbors and workmates and teammates. It might get fiery though. It might get, these both energies, the galactic center and the South Node, are very fiery. So it's interesting. Let's see if you notice such things. And there might be, 3rd house is your thinking, your internal narrative. With the South Node there, it indicates like the old narrative that you carry with you passing through the galactic center. It's like the furnace of the galaxy. It gets burnt up. So there might be for a little bit a lot of mental noise that happens, and suddenly you feel like white slate, and suddenly you feel like your mind is like a lot of internal chatter and self-talk. And usually the South Node indicates the more negative ones, like the ones that, the internal negative talk that you have towards yourself. Something happens, and it might be a crisis event. I cannot tell you. I can see on the conscious level what happens, that your negative self-talk and internal narrative switches off, and it's kind of upgraded. The galactic center upgrades something, pulls out the old thing, destroys it, and upgrades it. All right. And last but not least, Venus is in your 10th house, another cardinal house, career related. So things are really active, moving, active, and it's your career gets involved here, but Venus makes things a little bit easier there, making you maybe have more social impact on others, maybe also have more Um, if you're trying to find a job, for example, it can help for a few weeks with such endeavors. If you're trying to connect with some person in power, you can be favorably, you can have like favorable results with Venus there. If you have to have some project connected to your career, can give you a sense of pleasure, of joy with Venus being there to make it a bit easier, despite of all the other craziness that's happening. So thank you so much, Libras. Very active month, and it will continue into September. Actually, there are quite a few good things. If you heard, yes, there is tense aspect, but when we look deeper, there were quite a few good stuff. So do check out my book. My first written ebook, electronic book, is about 120 pages, but very small print, so it's actually much bigger. And yeah, and if you want to join us on a webinar with Krasi, how to read, a very practical webinar, how to interpret and read your Babylonian chart, which uses constellations. Bye.